Now, it's definitely no doubt that the NBA completely changed this summer, and with so many moves taking place, what did players around the league have to say about this? Now, recently on an interview with ESPN's The Jump, Damian Lillard had a lot to say about this year's ridiculous offseason, including the new super team that formed in LA with Kawhi and Paul George teaming up on the Clippers. But Dame was asked about how he received the news, and he said, "I didn't believe it at first, because when my cousin told me Paul George just got traded to the Clippers, and he followed that up with Kawhi's going there too, I was like, that's not true. I didn't believe it. I was in the pool and got out and walked over there like, let me see. I started searching on his phone, I saw it was real. I was like, wow, that's major. That's a major play." But what did Dame think of all these superstars teaming up around the league this year? He said, "Just for me personally, I'm not a team up type of person. You know, I've said it in the past, like, I would almost rather compete against them. If I'm gonna lose the way I'm trying to do it, I can live with that knowing I really mean that. That's what I prefer. There's nothing wrong with what guys are doing. When I see it, I kind of get excited about the challenge of it. I'm like, okay." When you talk about teaming up, it's like guys plotting on coming to one place, like, let's all go here and do this. But if you just add pieces to your team, like AD going to the Lakers, you're adding one of the best players in the game. But if it's like, let's get AD and get this dude, and 4 of you end up on the same team, that's when I look at it like, see, I could never do that. Now, with the news of Paul George and Kawhi Leonard heading to LA, it obviously shocked the entire world, and many players around the league took to Twitter about it immediately. Bradley Beal expressed he was speechless. Kevin Love tweeted, "What in the world just happened?" and even said Russ gonna average 36, 13, 11, knowing Westbrook could potentially be on his own out there. Donovan Mitchell tweeted out that wasn't an earthquake, it was Woj, with him being the one who broke the news in the first place. Robin Lopez even tried being hilarious, saying, "I've said it before, but if you woke up from a 25-year coma and found out the Raptors, Cavs, and Warriors have chips, and the Bucks, Clippers, and Nets are all contenders, they would have to revive you again." Dwayne Wade was probably glad he retired after last season with all of this competition coming to the league, and he tweeted out, "Now that's what I'm talking about, the NBA, man." Jamal Crawford admitted this was the craziest NBA summer of all time. Karl Anthony Towns and Zach LaVine were mind blown. Patrick Beverley, who recently re-signed to that LA Clippers team, even tweeted, "Don't talk to me," knowing that he's gonna have plenty of chance under the spotlight as well. Rudy Gobert had to tweet out Kawhi's meme of, "What it do, baby?" and Trae Young saying, "This league is different, man. Always something happening." Now, many believe Paul George and Russell Westbrook were going to stay teammates for quite some time and eventually make their mark in the NBA playoffs, with PG signing a long-term deal there just last summer. But after it was made official George would in fact be heading to the Clippers, he showed his appreciation with a post on Instagram saying, "Thank you, Oklahoma, for 2 great years. You took me in as one of your own from the day I touched down. Thank you to the fans who make representing those 3 letters mean something. Thank you to Sam and Clay for being the best management a franchise and player could ask for. Thank you to the friends within the organization that took care of my family and I whenever we needed help. The picture shown is a bond that can't be broken. I truly loved and enjoyed the race from start to finish. Thank you, Oklahoma. You already know what it is, Russell Westbrook. Love, Brody." Now, earlier in the summer, one of the first and obviously one of the biggest moves that happened this offseason was Anthony Davis finally getting his wish granted, being traded from New Orleans to LA and teaming up with his inspiration of LeBron James. But most had seen this coming all year long, ever since Anthony signed to LeBron's agent of Rich Paul, bought a mansion out in California for $7 million, and of course was constantly being praised by LeBron, and even being spotted together off the court. Definitely gonna be one of the biggest stories next season. LeBron had to make multiple posts on social media about it. On Instagram, he captioned one, "AD on the way" at Anthony Davis. "Let's get it, bro, just the beginning, #Lake Show." And he even recently made a post when it was made official that he would in fact be giving the number 23 to AD. And it was a picture of him holding his new jersey with a caption, "Officially a Laker, #Lake Show." Anthony Davis himself even talked about this newly found situation he put himself in and said, "The weather here is amazing. The city fits me. I live out here in the summers. LA's one of my favorite cities. I love to live here." Now, Magic Johnson, who recently resigned from the team, actually had a lot to say about the many moves the Lakers were making this summer. He even tweeted out, "LA has just become the king of basketball, with the Lakers adding AD, Cousins, Danny Green, JaVale McGee, and KCP, and Kawhi Leonard and Paul George joining the Clippers. It's gonna be awesome to watch NBA basketball in LA this season." Now, with that being said, many players around the league cashed out, signing some of the most ridiculous contracts in NBA history this year, and a lot of them actually talked about this. After signing an unreal 4-year, $196 million contract, one of the biggest deals in history, Damian Lillard was actually asked about this, and he said, "It meant a lot. I think the best thing for me is I never played for contract. Even when I first came into the league, I was playing the game for the right reasons. My heart was always in the right place. Over time, I learned that gets you what you deserve, and it's gonna get you where you're supposed to be. And I got my first extension. But I didn't look at it like, alright, I got a max contract. In my eyes, I had to live up to that, and keep staying true to what I've always done, and that brought me to this point. Obviously the money's great, the money's amazing, but like I said, I do it for the right reasons. I play for the love of the game, the competition, and trying to win it all. And that hasn't been done, so as great as the money is, once again I'm still moving towards something bigger. Now another huge move that shocked many was Kemba Walker leaving the Charlotte Hornets. He'd been loyal to them ever since he got there, and has drastically improved his game each season since, while coming off the best career year he ever had. Now I personally felt that up to this point, it's really been all him, and he's been tired of losing, so when the Hornets decided they weren't going to give him the supermax deal that he was looking for, he found a more promising opportunity in Boston replacing Kyrie Irving, who decided to head to Brooklyn and form a new super team. But Kemba got in an interview with ESPN and talked about his decision, saying, "When you think of the Celtics, you think of championships. You think of winning. That's what I'm about. I'm about competing for championships and winning. That's something I haven't been able to do throughout the early years of my career. I haven't been a consistent winner in this league, and I felt like Boston was the fit for me to try and accomplish those kinds of goals. I gave that organization every single thing I could give them. Now it's about competing at the highest level, and we all know Boston is doing that year in and year out. I want to be part of something special in terms of competing at the highest level." Now, if any of you were in Kemba's situation, you'd feel this was the right move, and honestly, you'd probably feel somewhat betrayed as he was loyal to their team all these years, even through all the losses, and he put the team on his back each night, while Charlotte decided to go out and sign Terry Rozier this summer to a deal for 3 years worth $58 million, the same exact amount Kemba made in his 8 seasons there. Now, obviously to kick off free agency, we've seen some of the biggest moves take place immediately, and it was made official that Kyrie Irving would be leaving Boston, Kevin Durant would split from Golden State, and just as it was speculated all year, the two teamed up in Brooklyn, where they also brought in DeAndre Jordan as well. Now with Kyrie signing the biggest deal of his professional career, 4 years with $141 million, he's a guaranteed headline all next season. It's safe to say the Brooklyn organization is hyped to have him part of their team. Already posting Kyrie's number 11 jerseys were getting ready to be sold as he officially signed his deal. But even Kyrie himself posted multiple pics to his Instagram about the move, one captioned, "The journey is the reward. I only know the best for me, family first at Rock Nation." And another, which was actually a childhood photo of him actually representing the Nets way back then, it said, "Brooklyn Nets, it's always been in the cards." On the other hand, Kevin Durant not only shocked the world leaving the Warriors, but also decided it was time for a fresh start, changing his number to 7. Many had speculated this to be what Kobe did to Michael Jordan back in the day, with MJ representing number 23 all along, then Kobe switching to number 24 to be one up. Obviously LeBron James switched to number 6 just a few weeks ago, and now KD's going with 7, so there's no way there's no coincidence here. But with that being said, as soon as the news became official he was heading to Brooklyn, Durant posted a picture captioned, "I wandered everywhere, through cities and countries wide, and everywhere I went, the universe was on my side." And shortly after, he even made a post on his business account explaining his reasoning for the number change. In the multiple pics, with one being his New Jersey hanging in a Brooklyn locker, KD said, "35 took my family and me from Seat Pleasant, Maryland and showed us the world. 35 allowed me to meet people that I never would have had the chance to meet, experience things I would have never had the chance to experience, and achieve things that I would have never been able to achieve. 35 allowed me to go to the University of Texas to play basketball. 35 allowed me to achieve my dream of playing in the NBA in Seattle. 35 allowed me to play basketball in Oklahoma City and form bonds and friendships that will last a lifetime. Lastly, 35 allowed me to go to the Bay Area and win 2 championships, and form brotherhoods that no time or distance will ever break. 35 was chosen in honor of someone very near and dear to me. I'll always honor him and honor the number 35, but as I start this new chapter in my basketball life, the number I'll be wearing on my back is the number 7 next time you see me on the floor. One time, Brooklyn, signed KD." Now this move to Brooklyn for KD wasn't necessarily a move to repair his legacy, for many doubting his greatness in Golden State. It was more so to enjoy the game of basketball once again. He was tired of the constant comparisons and never being appreciated. You could see it in his eyes as he walked out of Oracle on crutches being injured during the NBA Finals. They didn't want to play the villain role anymore. He wanted to be respected while having fun out there. Teaming up with Kyrie is exactly that, and you can't knock KD for making a move like this. NBA legend Steve Nash had constantly been working with the Golden State Warriors over the last few years, and he talked about the situation with KD. After Durant won championships with Dub Nation, he wasn't getting the feeling he wanted, and Nash talked about this saying, he didn't have a great summer. He was searching for what it all meant. He thought a championship would change everything and found out it doesn't. He was not fulfilled. He grew so quiet during the middle of the 2017-18 season that coach Steve Kerr summoned him to lunch in Portland, right before the All-Star break, and told KD, "I don't want to lose you." Ironically enough, we've seen KD earlier this year repping a black and white hat with the number 7 on it, showing his mind was made up long ago about this decision present day, and nothing or nobody could change it. It was time for him to do what he wanted. Now, one of the most surprising huge deals that came this summer was Chris Middleton. He'd been dedicated to the Milwaukee Bucks all these years, yes, literally coming from the bottom of the league during his early days to now competing in the playoffs and being the best record in the league last season. But he's continued to get better alongside Giannis, and many felt he was asking for too much this summer, but Milwaukee did not. They gave him exactly what he wanted in hopes it would make their team stay together for the long run and continue to compete till they end their championship drought. After signing a 5-year, $178 million contract right at the beginning of free agency, Chris Middleton made a huge post about it, saying, "We have unfinished business here in Milwaukee. This season was a stepping stone for me personally and for us as a group. I achieved so many firsts on and off the court. I earned my first All-Star appearance. We made the Eastern Conference Finals. I became a father. But I'm not done. We're not done. The goal wasn't to reach the Eastern Conference Finals. We're on a mission to win a championship. I want to be a part of that mission, which is why I'm staying here in Milwaukee for the next 5 years. It wasn't so long ago that we were a 15-win team. When you dream of playing basketball in the NBA, those aren't the seasons you fantasize about. I was 22 years old and it was tough. It means a little more to me to work to win a championship with this group in this city, because I was there for those darker days. Giannis Antetokounmpo and I have been through it all together. We've been at the very bottom and close to the top. When you rebuild a franchise brick by brick like that, it means a little bit more because you've literally put your blood, sweat, and tears into improving. We've been called the worst team. I've been called the worst player in the league. I now know that I'm part of something special. It's not every day that a team wins 60 games. Some players will never get to say they accomplished that. I grew up with this franchise. As the years have gone on, I've seen more and more people show up to our games. The fans have been crazy these last few years. I look forward to raising my girl in this city because I love it here. I don't feel like I'm done with my community work either. I want to win a championship for this city. I've already gotten back in the gym this summer, and I'm determined to make next season special. This team is on a mission to win it all. Now, one thing that's been slept on is the fact that the NBA has become more balanced leading into next season than in previous years, with most teams having 2 superstars rather than 3. Yeah, Golden State has Steph, Clay, Draymond, and now added D'Angelo Russell, but most teams decide to spread across their depth rather than 3 max players. The Lakers got lucky and picked up a 3rd star DeMarcus Cousins, leading many to believe that LA is now the best team in the league, but only time will tell as injuries played a huge factor during the last few seasons. Now go check out NBA players that switch their jersey numbers, and subscribe to stay up to date with the NBA 100%.